welcome back to the Major League Gaming 2009 PC circuit played on HP as we are getting ready to go into our next series that, of course, is going to be SKUS versus EG. And now we do have them already into the arena, so we're going to get the action started right away. Game 1 being played on Ring of Valor.
So this could be quite a fast match. We did just see this same matchup on this map last time. So, you know, we have... last time we did see Fnatic versus Complexity. Obviously Complexity coming out as the winner, coming down to that fifth game, ending at 3-2. And now we have another RMP versus RLS.
Now, one of the things that really stands out here for me in this series is SKUS really being the team that goes for those healer kills. And in previous games, we did see Doja, the man under fire on Ring of Valor, so I think it's really going to be on Tenderloin's shoulders. Can he stay up against the rushdown of SKUS?
Yeah, that was the name of the game. It's what people used to do against Serenia constantly. I mean, wow, I was reading that. I was reading that and looking at that.
Oh, that's awful.
I meant shamans. Started with an S. Long day. So that's always been the go-to strat in the past is, you know, train that shaman.
All right, Gates going up to the top. Let's go ahead and get this action started. Look to Enforcer and Smatton's the ones to really get the game going. Look to their openers to really start this game off, but it's still expecting Tenderloins to be under fire, and now you see it already. Pooks going to come out swinging with Water Elemental already up, and they're going to open onto Azale in the very beginning with a deep freeze onto Tenderloins. He immediately going to come out in Bloodlust, and he needs to pick up Azale, and there we go. Big heal coming in, 10,000 HP pickup, and now look over to Enforcer, already death coiled with some dodge rolling, and Smatton's sticking onto the back of him, down to 6,000 HP. Wow, barely gets around that pillar. In comes Penance. Big fear onto Reels though, and now it looks like this RLS of EG really having the offensive.
Now Enforcer's right onto Tenderloin again, who's used a lot of cooldowns, including his trinket right now.
And actually Smatton's used his advantage to open onto Enforcer after Enforcer opened onto Tenderloins. Now there's that pain suppression and Divine Hymn being used by Reels, so a lot of cooldowns being used very early on.
You see a blind on Tenderloin, followed by his sheep onto Azale, so Smatton's by himself right now.
But he's doing a great job actually trying to do that road dance with Enforcer, using everything he can to stay alive. Going to go ahead and vanish, and he will not get an opener back on Enforcer, but Smatton's still sitting around 10,000 HP, and there comes the heals in from Tenderloins.
Looks in a fear right now, so is Azale and Tenderloin. Lots of fears going around for both teams right now, but Enforcer and Smatton just dueling it out.
And now in comes a poly from Poogs, controlling Tenderloins a little bit. Smatton's down to 4,870 HP, getting picked up, but still not enough just yet. Drowning Totem does go down, 10k HP for Smatton's. Tenderloins doing a great job of keeping up. But if you look at his mana, no time for Water Shield at this point. And Reel's getting a little low, but look at his mana situation. Plenty of mana to make it through this game. This
is not looking good right now for Smatton whatsoever. Tenderloin almost out of mana right now. Azale at half. And, but look at the swap onto Enforcer.
Down to 11,000 HP, caught inside that kidney. But there we go, control coming from Poogs, making sure Enforcer's not too much trouble. Fear onto Poogs, followed by UA and a Corruption, so a little bit of damage onto him. And now the fear onto Reels. This is where things could get in a little bit of trouble. Enforcer down to 11,000, a couple dots ticking. Finally, Reels will get out of that, and actually, here we go, the pressure onto Tenderloins inside that deep freeze.
Big fear onto Poogs and Reels right there. Reels able to get out of it, and looking to put in damage onto Tenderloin also.
Wow, 4,000 HP clicky used, 600 mana left, Grounding Totem goes down, but look at Enforcer caught inside a kidney with UA and Han up, 2,800 HP, Reels out of mana, last Penance, down goes Enforcer. Tenderloin's very low though, we may see a counter kill, 3,600 HP, not a lot to work with at this point, but Tenderloins knows he just needs to stay up and lead this game to his two teammates right now because Reels is tapped as well.
Oh, he's going to make it around the pillar, and that's exactly where he needs to be.
And now Reels inside that kidney shot down to 15,000 HP, and there's that damage coming out from Azale onto him. Luke's tapped as well, tried to evocate, great fear from Azale, and there we go, SKUS leaving the arena. This round is going to go to the team of EG.
And that was a great match right there. We saw a lot of offensive pressure onto Tenderloins to the point where he had no mana left. And then his team turned it around with Smatton's and Azale tossing those big fears, those great stuns, and allowed Tenderloin to get away.
All right, we will be going into game 2 in just a little bit here, but we're going to wait and see And now, while we have just a couple seconds of downtime, make sure as we get into these clutch matches toward the end, if you haven't checked it out, check into the HD stream we have available, True HD 1.7 megabytes down, 480p, and of course with that rewind functionality, you can look back and see those clutch moments that you may have missed. Also, for the people that have purchased the HD stream, there is going to be a giveaway, a random giveaway of 2 of the pets available from the Blizzard store, that of course being Little KT and the Pandaren Monk.
So it basically pays for itself. And half of the monk proceeds actually goes to charity.
Yep, that's always good. Now we are going to go into Game 2, and it looks like Ring of Valor once again, the RMP of SKUS on the left side, the RLS of Team EG on the right.
And actually, doesn't KT give you like 5 to all stats or something while you have him out?
Actually, I think he kills critters, which is always a plus. Now, Ring of Valor once again, and, Tenderloin's doing a great job living through all of that right to the very end, giving Azael and Smattens the time they needed to score a kill.
All right, we are going to be following Poops to begin with on this. Again, ROV for the second time.
And honestly, favoring both teams in this situation. RLS, Azael always having LLS to cast on both, all 3 members of SKUS, but at the same time, oh, wow. A little mess up there. I don't think that evasion's going to do Enforcer too good of a job.
When you're spamming Fan of Knives, don't hit your evasion key, whatever you do.
Don't think that's going to do him too well in the starting area. Not much to hurt you there.
Come on, Enforcer. You won't prep right now.
I don't think he's quite that confident. All right, Gates approaching the top. This is Game 2 between SKUS and Team EG. Now look for these rogues. Enforcer taking that aggressive position at the very front. And now a very good Nova onto all members of EG. Now there's that cheap shot onto Azael that we saw earlier, but still not as much pressure this time. Big fear coming in from Reels, all 3 members, and now here's a quick swap over to Tenderloins. Kidney shot down to 8,000, followed by a CS. Not looking good. Tenderloins is going to get down a grounding, but he still needs to pick himself up. The pressure going on to Enforcer, already a pain suppression coming out from Reels.
And Tenderloin able to get away, and that's exactly what he needed to do, and we already see a pet, a Shadow Fiend out from Reels. Reels
did dispel UA.
That's what it was. And Azael ports away to his center position. That pillar is not up yet, though.
And now the Bloodlust finally coming in, but Smatten's caught into a blind, leaving Tenderloins and Azael to themselves. But Azael able to tank this damage pretty well at this point. Nothing coming across from. Now the Frostbolts are coming in. It's actually going to be into Smatten's, caught inside that deep freeze. Another Frostbolt coming in. Smatten's in a lot of trouble, and down goes Smatten's. And that was Pooks right there, just seeing an opportunity and capitalizing on it.
Not only that, Reels with that big fear right there caught Tenderloin in a fear, and he was way far away.
So a much quicker game on Ring of Valor the second go around. After 2 games, SKUS and Team EG tied up 1-1.
And if you look at the damage numbers, this was a very quick game, but look at all the control. I mean, you look at the damage numbers. Of course, the Power Root shields do take a little bit of the damage off, but it still should be nowhere near that. Smattens was caught behind the pillar when it did come up into a deep freeze, and they wrecked him.
And that early aggression from Pooks coming out with Water Element up and hitting a great Nova onto the team of EG. And now we see a shot of them on our screens. Of course, after the second game, they do have the opportunity to talk things over and, decide if they want to change things up.
All right, so 1-1 right now. The teams don't look like they're getting up and going anywhere, but this SKUS, that round, seems to be sort of more like the team we're used to seeing. That coordinated CC.
Okay, we are going to go straight into Game 3, which is going to be played on Ruins of Lordaeron. Again, I don't think there's any map that favors any one team too much. If anything, I'd give maybe a little bit of a favor over to the RLS of EG on maybe Blade's Edge with a little bit of extra room for Azael to work with if they do decide to go with that opener onto him.
Thought I just saw a little trash talk going back and forth in yells before they did queue up. But we are going to be on Ruins of Lordaeron. 1-1 right now, SKUS and versus EG. And these both have been great rounds.
And honestly, so far in this tournament, both SKUS and EG having a little bit of trouble as far as overall records go. But honestly, who isn't having trouble outside of Czech 6 and Button Bashers? Basically the 2 dominant teams so far in this tournament.
Yeah, we could see a very close finish for 3rd and 4th.
And I do believe that actually Button Bashers and Czech 6 will be playing later on today. Yes, they're going to be our second to last game tonight. Check 6 versus Button Bashers is going to be very exciting. But let's continue on with the action between SKUS and EG. Tied up 1-1, Game 3, Ruins of Lordaeron.
All right, we are going to be following Azale right out from the start. Take a look at where he positions his portal. It's going to be pretty big.
All right, gates are open. Now the Rogues will be the ones to start this out, and we're going to have to see what openers they do decide to go for. Enforcer already coming across. Not opening just yet. There we go. It's going to be on Tenderloins. They're going to start the pressure out onto the healer of EG, but actually he's going to kidney shot and decided to vanish out as Reels was sapped. So Enforcer going to back off and wait this out. Now we see a CS onto Azale. There's the Bloodlust coming across, and now actually Enforcer opening up onto Smattens.
Smattens is going to be the focus, like you said. Able to get out of it, though. Big fear onto him. And plus, you have Tenderloin, who is sheeped right now.
So Smattens may be in a bad position, but Enforcer getting taken very far out of this fight with that Death Coil while sprinted. Now caught into a fear with no will of Forsaken. And now we see a CS onto Azale once again, but it's actually Reels, the person taking a lot of damage. You see those dots rolling, pain suppression used. Pooks quickly coming out of that Hex, but Smattens once again in a kidney down to 2,400 HP, 300 HP. Late trinket from Smattens, not in time, and Smattens will go down.
The big thing that match was there was a big fear onto Enforcer, and by the time he got out of it, he was able to vanish because he identified that Smattens was on Reels. Got right on him, and they dropped him.
You know, even still with that trinket of Smattens being a little slow, I don't think it would have saved him in that situation.
No, not at all. And Pook's doing an impressive amount of damage. Right at the start, we actually saw a Poly and a Fear go off at the same time on each other, on Azale and Pooks.
Okay, we should be going into Game 4 momentarily between SKUS and EG, and they are going to queue up immediately. The Grand Arena going to be here for Game 4. Now SKUS can clinch this series here, and once again, EG in those situations where they have to come from behind if they want to win a series.
So in the Grand Arena, you know, the pillars add a little bit of an advantage to both teams, actually. The Shaman has the advantage of putting the totems behind the pillars, which means Earthbind all over the place. If they do need to kite the Rogue around in circles, of course, you know, Tremor is going to be down most of the time because of Reels.
Big game for SKUS, and honestly, these past 2 games have been very clean and clear-cut of what we're used to seeing from SKUS. Those quick kills scored, and honestly, a great job from Enforcer in that last game. A proper usage of his cooldowns and actually getting over to Smattens in such a good position, and really Pooks is the main person doing the damage in that last game.
So the gates should be opening quickly. We're going to see how Pooks handles the very beginning of this fight on the Grand Arena.
Pook's really the rush person, which did kind of come back to bite him in one game, and of course in that series against Button Bashers, that 5th game coming across the top of that Ruins of Lordaeron map, and Button Bashers taking full advantage of it. And now see it once again, Pook's coming out to the middle of the arena and just channeling those Frostbolts and getting those debuffs up onto Azale. And now actually they're going to open on him, and now full rank Frostbolt's going into Azale, getting very low while heals finally come in, and finally there's the loss on Tenderloin. So already SKUS with a lot of early pressure. Now we did see a quick kidney onto Enforcer, but he's going to come out of that very quickly. Now Pook still coming back into the game, trying to put out more damage. Smatten's actually the one under pressure now, caught into a defreeze.
Azale's just spamming fears right now, trying to get his dots up, and Smatten down to half right now, trying to get back onto his target, which is Enforcer.
And actually, Pooks did snap right there and had Smattens and Tenderloins in a deep freeze. But look over, and actually a little bit of damage onto Pooks, and Tenderloins caught into that Nova right next to Pooks. But we do see full rank Frostbolts trying to be put into Smattens, and now Enforcer actually the one in trouble, going to have to cloak and vanish, and with a big fear onto Reels, he will break. Immediately falling with a Howl of Terror, though. Enforcer sit in stealth while he knows that Reels will not be able to help him out.
Enforcer looking to reopen up his Smattens, which he is right now. Cheap shot, soon to be followed by the... Oh, but a Death Coil stops that. Trinkets the Death Coil and gets feed right away. Great job by Azale.
And Tenderloin sitting in the poly with Nature Swiftness up. So great job there by Azale, giving Tenderloins that little bit of extra breathing room that he needed to get that off. But Smatten's still taking a lot of damage, 16 HP, but so is Enforcer. But Enforcer will come around, catching a penance from Reels. Now Pook's caught into that Hex, so a 2v3 situation for just a little bit here, but a big fear coming across from Reels onto Smatten and Tenderloins.
And Reels right now is feared, also shields himself and then heads over to try to find Enforcer, who's caught behind that pillar. Tosses his shield out, he's down to half. Oh, big spell lock there onto Reels. Enforcer getting really low, pain suppression up, plus a penance, trying to channel that flash shield. Look at him fake, trying to bait that counterspell. And
now Cloak of Shadows used, so Enforcer will make it out of that situation safely. Smatten's caught into a poly right now, and in comes that Hymn of Hope. Reels really needing the man at this point, and Pook's actually controlled. Now here's that kidney on the Smattens with Tenderloins into a fear, while CS not looking good for Smattens. He needs to get out of there very quickly, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Deep freeze, but still not enough damage to put him down. And now Reels caught into a fear and very low on mana at this point.
Smatten's able to get away from that situation. However, down to half, Cloak is up. Where's Healer?
And Tenderloin still, there's a Devourer trying to get him in, and there he goes. He's finally picking up. But look to Enforcer, caught in that kidney, drops down to 6,000 HP. Heals coming in from Reels, but they're actually going to swap over to Reels and fear Enforcer. Reels at no mana, 7,000 HP. Going to go ahead and use his HP clicky. Smatten's caught into a poly. Great job by Pooks saving Reels in that situation, but still Azael able to get up plenty of dots. But look at Enforcer as well, 3,000 HP. Down goes Enforcer. Great job by EG, dragging that game out and scoring a kill on Enforcer while Reels being low at the same time.
Right towards the end, Reels was out of mana. He had to make a decision whether to heal himself or try to find Enforcer and heal him. Enforcer was doing a great job of trying to kite away, prevent some of that damage. He was so low on life. And also try to get back on his target.
And look at damage done by Azael in that match. 115,000 damage. So really Azael putting out most of the pressure throughout that game for EG.
Lots of damage. And when these games go long, I mean, those Warlock dots can make a huge difference, even when the other team has a Priest.
The name of the game for SKUS has been scoring an early kill in the beginning of a match. Otherwise, as it drags on, EG able to capitalize on that and take some wins. So, Game 5 going to be on Ruins of Lordaeron. SKUS EG coming down to this 5th and final game.
So we have seen this map before in this match already. We had 2 ROVs, a Ring of Valor, or 2 Ring of Valors, Lordaeron. And now, of course, we're back on to Lordaeron with that last game on the Grand.
Both of these teams coming down to the wire in these kind of series, it's got to be starting to weigh a toll on them as we get into these late games on Saturday night, and they have to just make sure they bring their consistent A game that we know they can. And now again, SKUS really needs to go for that rush down strat as it's what is working for them. So let's see what they decide to do, but I would expect to see Pooks be very aggressive early on. Enforcer going through his cooldowns very quickly, both vanishes, blowing prep early on in the game, trying to go for a kill, but really it's those strong openers from Enforcer and being a little bit patient even while going through his cooldowns quickly where they're able to really capitalize.
Yeah, the re-stealth, every time Enforcer is able to get a re-stealth, whether it's feared away, having to force the stealth with Vanish or not, but he's been doing a great job entering the battle.
All right, gate's about to open. All comes down to this. This is whenever, I guess this is time to put up or shut up, as we've been talking about throughout the weekend, as everyone seemed very confident coming into this tournament, but now this is it. Smatten's going to come out and slowly but surely make it across the arena. Now both rogues will sprint, and now we're going to see who gets opener. We do have a sap on the Tenderloins, though. Smatten's unable to get anything just yet. He does have Reels targeted, but not going to start just yet. We do have a little bit of damage going on, and now actually an opener onto Enforcer, in a kind of a bad position on the side of that sarcophagus, but Smatten's going to be put into that poly while Tenderloins is feared. Bloodlust has already been used at this point, though.
Lots of crowd control onto this team of EG, and lots of damage out onto Tenderloin already.
And that's all coming in from Pooks while he was inside of that deep freeze. But look at Enforcer. He's going to have to go ahead and cloak and get pain suppression as he's taking a lot of damage. And now he's going to try to get back over to Tenderloins, getting caught inside that kidney. But really, it looks like this RLS is just trying to drag it out to that extra step. Fear onto Smatten's going to break that immediately. And now Enforcer sees the swap, and he's going over to Smatten's, and actually he's going to kite around to the side of the sarcophagus.
Pooks is the luckiest person I know. He has his Earth Shield. Oh, there it goes. He spell stole it with a whole line of buffs on.
All right, and now we see Reels taking a little bit of damage, but Enforcer again inside that kidney. Big Howl of Terror comes in from Azael. Reels going to be sitting inside of that, and now we're going to see if they can capitalize anything, but Smattens is caught inside of that Frostbite. He is going to go ahead and vanish. Enforcer, those dots are ticking, and they're actually going to go onto Reels and just let Enforcer tick down, and Reels is opting to throw that powered shield up and get that binding kill out, so great job by him so far. Enforcer turning around, getting that kidney shot on the Smattens, but he does have Earth Shield up.
And look at how low Reels is getting right now. Enforcer trying everything he can to stop the damage from Smatten. It's not helping whatsoever. Reels stuck in the center, no cooldowns, with a kick onto the flash heal, locking his Holy Tree out, and that's it.
And EG gonna win Game 5 and win the series against SKUS. SKUS not looking good whatsoever in this tournament with their standings, with a lot of losses early on. And there we go, cleaning it up. EG the winners. And that's going to conclude this series with EG over SKUS 3-2. And of course, still plenty of WoW games to come before the night is over. Coming up next, we do have Fnatic versus SKEU, Check 6 versus Complexity, then SKUS versus SKEU with a couple more games to follow. But first, we are going to take a short commercial break and then come right back to the action live in Anaheim for the Major League Gaming 2009 PC Circuit played on HP.